If I asked you guys 1 year ago if you knew the name Warhorse Studios or Kingdom Come Deliverance, would you have known? My guess is probably not. So what we're seeing right now post-launch of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is absolutely insane to me. What's going on, you guys? My name is Kintzugi, and I'm one of the many millions of people who are just salivating over this new medieval RPG. Now let's go over the numbers first as to what we are looking at when it comes to the popularity of this new RPG. The game sold more than 1 million copies after just 1 day. When we look over at the Steam charts, we are seeing an all-time peak of 228,073 players at one time. And if we take a look over at viewership on Twitch, this game on February 4th, its release day, clocked in at number 3 on the most watched games list. So how did a historically accurate medieval RPG like this that no one knew about not that long ago become what is expected to be one of the biggest game releases of the year? To be totally honest, I have no idea. This is a historically accurate medieval RPG based in 15th century Bohemia. The game feels like a simulator at times. What I mean by this is you have to do your laundry, bathe yourself, make sure you eat, but not too much, and then spend plenty of time practicing your sword fighting, because if you don't, you will be annihilated pretty quickly. These are all things I never thought I would see have popularity in the mainstream. But here we are, 2025's first major game release, and it seems like more people are experiencing something they never knew they wanted. So here's my first impressions of playing Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. The question I had was, is it a movie? Is it a simulator? Is it a video game? And the answer to that is yes. This game checks off so many boxes and just seamlessly transitions between all three things I just mentioned there. And to explain my point, let's start with the introduction of the game. The introduction of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is an absolute masterpiece, and you can't convince me otherwise. I wish more games would take their time introducing players like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 does. Although it seems this game is capturing more players than we ever thought it would, I'm still not quite sure how many players are thrilled about the extensive cinematics and cutscenes that start in this game and continue on throughout. I know everyone wants to get into the gameplay, but I find it very respectable that Warhorse doubled down on who they are. In my playthrough so far, the prologue of this game took me about 3 hours, and I would say half of that was cutscenes and cinematics. I understand why some people may not be a fan of this, but I do think it's a very important thing when it comes to this game. Reason being is that this game is very heavily focused on the story, as most RPGs are. However, Warhorse is confident that these cinematics and cutscenes are necessary to creating a better experience throughout the game. And the best part about the beginning of this game is the fact that Warhorse was honest when they said that new players would have a fine time plugging in to this series. The beginning of the game is extremely helpful in introducing new players to the story through characters reminiscing about the events of the first game or a massive amount of flashbacks of the events that occurred in that first game. New players are surely to have a great experience even if you are starting with this second game. And sticking with the introduction of this game, I was very impressed with the way Warhorse handled the introduction choices for your player character of Henry. For example, when you experience your first dialogue scene, you seamlessly respond to the party questioning you, which determines things like choosing your playstyle and choosing which weapons you might want to focus on for your journey. Moving on, this one's not going to be surprising to any of you that have seen this game already. The visuals are absolutely stunning. I'm lucky enough to be able to play this game on the max settings on PC, and boy howdy does it show. The landscapes are lush and the hair on everyone is super detailed, and the lighting in this game truly maximizes the potential of ray tracing, from the reflections on the water to the sun peering through the trees in the forest during the day. I am truly in awe when it comes to this game. Although it's not all perfect, I personally have experienced some visual bugs. I personally have experienced some light flickering, and one time in the UI, Henry's hair absolutely went nuts. It's almost as if he stuck his finger in a light socket. Nevertheless though, I personally haven't experienced any glitches or bugs that have ruined my experience. But if you truly have been experiencing some bugs or glitches that have been truly troublesome, let us know in the comments down below. Another thing that really impressed me with starting in this game is the way Warhorse makes you feel like a peasant again. Now, this is far from the same way they did this to you in the first Kingdom Come Deliverance. Basically, without giving away any spoilers, although Henry has grown from the first game, and you do start at a higher level than level 1, through your experiences of the prologue, dialogue. You end up finding yourself in a situation when the game first opens up where you have to fight your way back to full strength and start rebuilding your losses. This makes for an epic journey to rebuilding yourself as Henry, which creates rewarding progress along the way. All in all, this game has wildly impressed me, and I'm not even that far into it. A few other small things to note that I really did enjoy coming from the first game. The crime system seems to be way smarter than it used to be, and as somebody who loves to play as a criminal in this game, I really appreciate the effort. However, I will say this, in my short time with the game already, I have committed some acts of crime that have done away with certain people around certain villages, and so far, I've received little to no pushback from any guards or anyone in town. Maybe that just means I'm really good at being a criminal, or it's a little bit easier to do in the small villages. Once I get to Kuttenberg, the big city in this game, I'm really hoping to put the criminal system to the test. Now, the combat did shift a little bit coming from the first game. We now only have 4 directions to swing our weapon, which has had little to no impact on my experience with this combat. One thing we heard a lot about when it came to this second Kingdom Come Deliverance game was that fighting multiple enemies would be easier, and I'm here to say that is in fact the case. At the end of the day, I'm not sure if I remember a release of a game like this that truly captured the hearts of many. As I said before, this type of game and what it offers is not something that you see in the mainstream too often. After being a new player to the game myself, after covering it a little bit last year, I am so happy to see more people discovering this gem. And with that said, I wanted to reassure people who may not be finding enjoyment in this game that it's okay and you're not a weirdo for thinking that. I've always described Kingdom Come Deliverance as very much a love-hate kind of game. The systems the game uses are extremely niche, and the game treats your time as if that's the only thing you've got on your calendar for the week. And with all this said, I'm actually very curious how many people stick with this game after the next week or so. We all know the power of a hype train when it comes to a new release game. We usually see massive spikes, and then there's always going to be some form of a drop-off. The real question here is how big of a drop-off are we getting? Because the fact of the matter is, this game is going to require many hours to complete, and even more hours to thoroughly go through if you want to go closer to 100% completion. Being that patience is not something that today's modern world really has a lot of, I'm really curious to see whether or not this many people stick around for this one. What do you guys think? Do you think a lot of people are going to stick around, or do you think that this game is going to become too overwhelming for the many people getting caught up in this hype train? Leave your thoughts about it in the comments down below. Better yet, leave even more of your Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 thoughts in those comments down below, and let's talk further about the crazy experiences I'm sure we're all having. All right, you guys, that's gonna do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. As always, this video was very much a quick impression video of my off-the-cuff thoughts when it came to starting Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. So if you guys have anything else to add in terms of your experiences, and I'm sure you do, leave those thoughts in the comments down below. Come check us out when we are streaming the game live on the channel right here on YouTube and over on Twitch. And until next time, you fine people of the internet, I'll see you soon. Peace.